Hmm.
And my kids, I'm teaching them, something very similar. But what that almost, the assumption that I had was conflict was bad.
Mm.
And conflict is actually good. Healthy conflict, healthy friction
Yeah.
is actually how we learn the most. It's how, progress is made. A car can't move forward, without friction with the road and the tires. And so friction is good. And I think for the majority of my career, I was conflict averse or friction averse. And once I've started to learn that healthy conflict, healthy friction is a good thing, that's when, like we just had, right? A healthy debate is good for everybody involved, as long as it's done with respect. And
Of course.
But disagreement and conflict and friction, that's actually good business. That's actually good relationship building and communication. So that's something I wish I would have learned earlier.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Learning podcast. My name is Joao Camargo, and my guest here today is David Kemp, who is the Director of Growth at MarketScale. David, thank you so much for being here today. I'm super, super excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, what's up, man? It's good to see you. And this will be fun.
It will be fun. And I would love to start for us to start here with the same way that I start every single one of these conversations, just getting the guests to have a little context on who you are, what you do, what you're all about, and anything else that you'd like to share about you and about the company so that they can have a little bit of a better understanding on where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'll start with me. Former small college basketball coach, turned into some sort of healthcare journeyman, and father of four, happy husband to a woman I've been married to for 15 years. And
amazing.
Living life better than I deserve every day.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's actually a great foundation to start, because I think in entrepreneurship, there can be such a blindness that comes on what's going on in people's life and chasing money and the achievements and all these things. But I think, at least for myself, I'll say this, it all comes back to family and the foundations that we have and people that we keep closer. And I'm going on a little bit on a tangent here already. So, but I saw this ad from Nike recently, which is a picture of a father holding a golf club with a little kid coming towards him, and it says, "You already won." So what you just said reminded me of that.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah. So it's so awesome. So thank you for sharing that there. So on the personal side, that's amazing. Talk to me a little bit more about MarketScale, what you guys have going on there as well, and then we'll dive into the rest of the conversation. Sorry for the tangent there already. I just get excited.
I love it. Yeah, MarketScale, we're helping B2B companies save costs and grow bottom line. I mean, for a long time, we've asked marketing departments in B2B to create every piece of content for every department, for every part of our community. And what we know about B2B marketing teams is they are usually short-staffed, under-budgeted, don't necessarily have the tools to execute because all of those things are expensive and they're hard to scale. And so MarketScale is really taking a page out of B2C and saying, look, if influencer marketing and user-generated content has worked well for a long time in B2C, there's no reason why it shouldn't be a great strategy in B2B. And the best brands in B2B are doing it now. Mm-hmm. And it's the most cost-effective way to grow. I mean, if you think about it, we've all think about your time in college. Like when you were in college and you had to move apartments, what did you do? We didn't have money to hire a moving company. Probably didn't even have a truck.
Yeah.
What would we do? We'd call our buddies and we'd say, hey man, I need your help this weekend. I'll buy you some pizza. I'll buy you some beer, but I need your help.
On me.
Yeah. And in B2B marketing, that's the idea we're bringing to content creation, educating and engaging our community is like, look, the engineer that nobody's talked to in the last 10 years that built your product, he might be your best marketer. Mm-hmm. Your customer, your advocate, your channel partner, those people that know you, are big fans of yours, know a lot about the industry, can help educate, those should be marketers for you. And so MarketScale is really just a service that identifies those channel partners, those customers, those colleagues, and we activate them to create good content that can build awareness, can build authority, so that these companies don't have to overhire. They don't have to overspend on DIY tools, and they can still grow cost effectively. And man, it's been good. It's been amazing to see how these companies have grown without overspending.
Yeah, no, and thank you for sharing that. And one of the exciting things that that came to mind for me when we were first having our conversation before even recording and getting this all going is that you mentioned that you really become partners with them because it's the same
Yeah.
interest. It's that aligned interest in really being able to help them, which is similar to how we try to help the clients that we work with. It's just, hey, we're in a true partnership. How can we make sure that all the actions that we take for you guys will be in the interest of the company and saving money for you and being able to have the best ROI so that you can grow with, you can help all your clients on the safe side of the table and be on the same side of the table as them, which I think is always the partnerships that result in the best results for all parties. And then on top of that, I would love for you to just explain to the listener right now that what are some of the biggest mistakes that some of these B2B companies make when trying to create content and do these things? Because I think there is this overarching misconception that it has to be different and it has to be the specific way, and they try to do all these crazy things that can be overlooked or maybe overworking sometimes. So tell me
Yeah.
about some of the biggest mistakes you see in a lot of these companies and what they're doing wrong that doesn't allow them to maybe scale to the extent that you guys are able to help companies with.
Yeah. The most expensive mistake we see every day is overspending on advertising.
Mm,
If you look at every metric, advertising in B2B doesn't work. 50% of your advertising spend is useless. The problem is you don't know which 50% because you can't gauge it. You can't. It's so hard to evaluate what that spend is doing for you. And so even if you go to turn off 50% of it, you're going to turn off the wrong 50%. It's so expensive. You can't scale it. And at the end of the day, you don't own anything. It's like renting a really expensive car for a really long time, and then at the end of that rental, you have to give it back, and
hmm,
you don't own any of that value. And I think it's accepted generally as a strategy because everybody has done it for such a long time.
hmm.
And so it's hard to say I'm not gonna do something everybody else is doing.
Sure.
But I the founders here at MarketScale started in advertising and B2B.
Hmm.
They'll tell you it's easy to sell, it's impossible to renew because nobody's happy with their ad spend. Nobody's happy with their
Hmm.
ad campaign. Um, and for all the reasons that we just discussed. And so there has to be a better way. And there is. It's authenticity, it's community, it's
Hmm.
user generated content. Um, and we're starting to see, that be more widely accepted, generally
Hmm.
accepted, and on almost table stakes for these B2B brands. The second mistake I see that we
Hmm.
see every day here at MarketScale is, um, and we work in some verticals and some industries that are highly regulated, whether it's financial services or healthcare or oil and gas.
Hmm.
We understand that the content that we put out in these highly regulated industries has to be compliant. It has to be accurate. Um, but what that usually leads to is concern or overprotectiveness of letting others tell that story or to educate
Hmm.
their community, their industry. You know, in every other walk of life, everybody has a voice and everybody's entitled to share their opinion, except B2B.
Huh.
The
Interesting.
engineers, even though they build these products and these services and these machines, for some reason they're not allowed to share their experience,
Hmm.
their expertise. So the biggest mistake we see is saying, no, 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 no. This team of 3 or 4 marketers is going to create everything for everybody because the experts out there that are building these tools, using these tools, they don't know what they're talking about. That's a huge mistake,
Yeah,
man.
just upside down. Yeah.
It's upside down, and it puts a huge bottleneck
Hmm.
on the amount of education, engagement, information that you can put out in the market.
Hmm.
Flip it upside down, and now you've got hundreds of people that can do the marketing for you.
That's so interesting. I actually agree with a lot of the things that you just said, especially on that leverage side of things, utilizing and sorry, not utilizing the people, but I guess kind of using them in a way to really do the marketing
Activating
for
them.
activating them. That's the perfect word.
Yeah.
Really, that's a great word there. I actually agreed. Would you be open if I actually challenge you on the advertising side of things though? Because I've actually seen a couple of different things on our side. So I'd love to hear if you're open with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
it's interesting because I actually agree with you on the social side of things, on everything else that that you have going on to activate those people and then leverage that up. Would you? would you say that the advertising, or from the experience that you guys have seen, is more so on, hey, this spend gets put out there, and as you said, that 50%, 50-50, you don't know which one is the right 50, the wrong 50. Would you attribute that to not being able to do it the right way, or you just don't think it's useful at all? And the reason why I asked that question is because whenever we've worked with some past partners as well, that side of things can be leveraged if done the right offer, the right value proposition, putting the right message in front of the correct audience, and then supplement that with what you guys do, which is the phenomenal side of things of activating things in the right way and then using them beside each other. Is that something that you don't agree with?
I think about it this way. Like, how did Elon Musk become the richest man in the world without spending $1 on advertising? And then the second question I would have for you is, do you enjoy being advertised to? And the reason I ask these things is not because advertising is evil or bad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we could all agree probably that there's a healthy balance of paid, earned, and owned media. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if we have a fans first mentality,
Sure,
where we want to put our fans, our customers first, which is how the best businesses in the world have been built, is advertising fans first. Look at Jesse Cole. So Jesse Cole, the CEO owner of the Savannah Bananas, if you're familiar. What was one of the first things he did when he took over the Savannah Bananas? He saw all the advertising that was on the billboards and on the wall of their baseball stadium and said, why are these here? Why do I have a beer advertisement when I know 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds are coming to the park? Is that fans first? Probably not. Am I going to lose some additional ad revenue? Probably. But if I put my fans first, they're going to do the marketing for me, which is free.
Yes.
In fact, it's better than free. They're paying you. They're buying your tickets and then doing the marketing for you.
Yeah.
And so when we put fans first, it's the cheapest, most cost-effective, most scalable way to grow, because not only do happy people and happy customers buy more and come back next time, they tell their buddies about it.
Yeah, it's exponential.
They evangelize about it. Yeah, it's a multiple.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with you on that side of things, because 2 tell 4, 4 tell 8, and 16, and then 32, and then like that compounds. But it's interesting because it sounds like we actually agree on it. I just might have a different frame on the side of the positioning of the marketing, because nobody likes to be like, hey, try this new thing out, like go and get this offer. Like, oh, I hate seeing that.
Yeah.
But if you're positioning, and then let me know if you disagree with this as well. But if you're positioning that are putting paid efforts behind a well-positioned ad where you are putting fans first and putting the outcomes that they're trying to get, then that's a completely different situation to supplement that, as opposed to the typical marketing that everybody just wants to press the skip button as fast as possible. Is that more, more aligned with what you were thinking of?
Yeah, that, and when you're boosting content, because we try it, right? We, here at MarketScale, we try it. And we test it, and we look back and try to evaluate, is it worth it or not? And it almost never is.
Interesting.
We've gone through periods where we're like, okay, we'll put $50,000 towards advertising every month, and let's take a look back after a few months and see. Very rarely does it pay off or pay for itself. And so we've tried it. Now our customers have tried it. A lot of B2B is trying it. It's really hard to do, and it's really hard to quantify. And while you're trying to figure it out, it's super expensive. And so for the health of your business, the health of your margins, the key here is to lower cost of customer acquisition, right? That's the whole key to your margins, because then you can offer lower prices and you can differentiate. Advertising takes a sledgehammer to those margins, takes a sledgehammer to that customer acquisition cost.
Interesting. And I appreciate, this is actually a great conversation, because oftentimes having someone as a guest, it's interesting to hear all their ideas and everything that's going on. And I think for maybe not the first time, it might be a little bit of like, hey, I agree to disagree on some extent on my
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
no,
That's why
exactly.
it's healthy. This is super
Exactly.
healthy.
No, exactly. And I love having conversations like this because you get to hear a lot of the things that I'm not used to on the day to day and that maybe sometimes you might not be used to. But I think I agree with so much with what you said, especially on like being able to position it the right way. But yeah, no, this is really, really, really awesome. And I'd love to kind of lean into my next question here, which is when it comes to a lot of what you guys are doing, we talked about the mistakes and some of the things that kind of can get in the way of that growth and achieving that raving fan mindset that we talked about here as well. Is there anything that you wish you knew before you started, David, on this entire journey that you think would have been much easier for you to not only execute in the day-to-day things that you're doing, but maybe help a lot of the companies that you guys work with as well, and maybe even on the personal side of things and what you have going on in life too?
Yeah. So I come from a military family, very, patriarchal and um, respectful to authority and hierarchical, and I think those are great qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids, I'm teaching them, something very similar. But what that almost, the assumption that I had was conflict was bad.
Mm,
And conflict is actually good. Healthy conflict, healthy friction
yeah.
is actually how we learn the most. It's how, progress is made. A car can't move forward, without friction with the road and
Mm,
the tires. And so friction is good. And I think for the majority of my career, I was, I was conflict averse or friction averse. And um, once I've started to learn that healthy conflict, healthy friction is a good thing. That's when, like we just had, right? A
yeah.
healthy debate
Yeah.
is good for everybody involved as long as it's done with respect. And
Of course.
but but disagreement and conflict and
Mm,
friction, that's actually good business. That's actually good relationship building and communication. So
yeah.
that's something I wish I would have learned
Mm,
earlier. It felt like especially early in my career, it felt like I could not disagree. It felt like I could not ask questions because I didn't want to be disrespectful.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Um, and the more I learn is like, no, that's actually a sign of respect. I
Yeah.
trust you enough to share my perspective. And if we were family and I thought you were doing something unhealthy, a family member who loves you would
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I think you're doing something unhealthy," and I'd share
Yeah.
that concern. And that's the same kind of ethos that we can have in business if it's done out of
Mm.
respect.
I really, really like that. And I like the quote that you used there in the middle, which is even like a car can't move forward without friction of the tire and the road. And it's so interesting because I think at the end of the day, having that friction and maybe sometimes I wouldn't use the word butting heads, but having that small conflict, it's all done with the given that it's all done with the intention of bettering each other. It's always the best case scenario to improve everything else that's going on internally, but also externally with everyone else around you. Because as you said, it's the clarity of it's the clarity and having that trust that, hey, I want this person to exceed as much as I can, and I'm going to share what I think is maybe right or
Yeah,
some insights that I have, and hopefully they do the same for me, so that I can open my eyes as well. And it's like that conjunction of like,
exactly.
how can we work together to push forward, as opposed to no, we disagree, so we never talk to each other again. It's like no, we're not in high school anymore. It's like how can we make sure that we work together and into making something beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's really, really awesome. I have one final question here for you, David, which is actually not a question from me. It's a question from our last guest to you, and they had no idea who you were. Final question here. Ready for it? Here it
I'm
is.
ready.
And actually, this is so fitting. This is so, so fitting. So here it is. If money, prestige, recognition, and all those things were not or is not a needed aspect of for your life, would you still be working in this industry?
I think I'd still be in healthcare. Yeah. Um, Small college basketball coach. It was all about community. It was about help. It was bigger purpose, right? Um, when I got out of small college basketball, it's because I wanted to spend more time with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I do? I searched for, an industry that had a similar calling, and healthcare has that, right? And so, maybe not a definitive yes in terms of healthcare, but it
Mhm.
would be something very closely aligned with, what I've done in the past, which is you can help others, you're closely aligned with a bigger purpose, and you know that what you're doing is
Mhm.
delivering something valuable and meaningful to, the people that you're working with.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, David Kemp, thank you so much for your time. This has been such an awesome conversation. I always love having a guest like yourself, which really are putting it all on the table to share all the knowledge and share all the experiences. So thank you so much for your time, David. Where should people go if they want to learn a little bit more about you and, of course, also about the company?
Yeah, go to marketscale.com, visit our socials, obviously, Twitter, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. David Kemp, you can find me pretty easily on LinkedIn. And my number's right there. You can give me a shout. You can give me a text, whatever you need. But this has been a blast, man. Thank you for having me on.
There you go. Well, I'll leave everything down below here if you want to check it out. And if you're still listening to this conversation and you want to hear more conversations like this, please hit the subscribe button and I will see you on the next episode. David, thanks again for your time.
Hey, thank y'all.